Hey gang, Brad here, checking in from my editing dungeon with a quick little pre-episode video to cover a couple of announcements. The first one, most importantly, is thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting. Thank you so much for sharing with a friend. It's been really quite incredible for us as new creators to see that we've started to build up this little community of people who are looking forward to Tuesdays as much as we are. And to relive these fun memories that I built with my friends in this game over again with a new group of people to experience the adventure with us has been so fun. So thank you so much for tuning in so far. And as we gear up into the end of this arc and future arcs, I really hope that resonates with you guys too, because it's been a treat to see. The second announcement is that next week we are unfortunately going to be taking another dark week. A couple of us are traveling and out of the country for a little bit, and those couple of us happen to be the editor and the person who puts together all of the shorts. So while we could try and throw something together for next week, I really want to do justice to the story that my friends told for the back half of this campaign. So no new episode next week, but after that, there are only 5 or 6 episodes left as we barrel full speed with no breaks towards an ending to this story that I was so proud of and really hit me quite hard. But third announcement, if you are looking for something to fill that vacuum of time next Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a great suggestion for you. We'd love it if you would check out our friends over at Warlock. Warlock's a D&D audio drama that has like a cool anime blend to it. It follows the story of young sorcerers at a prestigious academy who are just figuring out the complexities of these pact bonds. It's much less long-winded than our show. Each episode is a much more palatable size, and it really made for a captivating listen for me. The editing is wonderful, the cast is amazing, and what's really cool in the anime style is that they have, along with transcripts of their episodes, illustrations that they make for each of their episodes that really help you to sort of picture the action that's going on quite well. You could check out those transcripts over at warlockpod.com, and you can check out Warlock on wherever your pods are casted. I won't keep you guys too much longer. That's enough prattling on from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode, and before we launch into it, here's a quick little peek about what you can expect from the story at Warlock. See you later.
Long ago, the world was at war, but then the 10 dragons arrived. They brought peace to the world and gave us the gift of magic. Those who can use that magic are called sorcerers.
Ren Desert Thorn, Triad Legacy.
Briar Nightshade, Legacy, Botany.
Kira Bloodweaver, Legacy, Human Puppet.
But that is about to change.
I know my legacy hasn't activated yet, but it's got to this year, right?
Nova, I know you'll shine wherever you go, but it just might not be as a sorcerer.
I want to be like Dad and Magnus. They're still out there, Mom.
Magic took them away from us, and I just don't want it to take you from me, too.
I'm sorry, Miss Ravenwood, but I'm afraid we just can't admit you. Without a legacy, you have no future as a sorcerer.
You know, I heard a rumor that the Dragon Shrine has the power to manifest legacies. Maybe you should try going up there.
The Dragon Shrine, huh?
Good luck, little Nova.
Turn back. Turn back, or you'll die. I don't think you can handle the power I have.
Please help me. I'll do anything.
Touch the statue and I'll lend you my power, but it will come with a price.
Oh, someone help me! My name is Nova, and this is the story of how I became the first warlock.
I'm going to be your instructor. I think you'll make a fine addition to the academy. Welcome to Class Red.
Let me tell you how this is gonna go. First, I'm gonna kick the crap out of you. Then, you apologize and run away. Got it?
Wait, you don't know who I am?
You're Briar Nightshade, my classmate.
Yes, I am. I thought my reputation would have given myself away.
This power might not be mine, but I'll use it until I don't need it anymore.
You told me it was just going to scare her. I didn't know the damn shrine would actually give her powers.
It's none of your concern what happens. Only that you do as you're told.
Fine. What do I need to do now?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. My name is Brad, and we are continuing today in this arc set in the world of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. Who's with me?
Yeah, I'm Zach, and I'll be playing Dirk.
I'm Victor, and I'll be playing Leor.
I am Michelle, and I'll be playing Tal, or Tala.
And I'm Marty, playing Paige.
Or Kashmiri?
Shh, that's a secret, Bradley. We don't tell those to people.
I won't tell. What I will tell is this. Who's Taking Watch is an anthology-style D&D anthology. I've been having a rough time talking these past few intros. It is an anthology-style D&D actual play show where us group of friends and DMs take turns sending each other on journeys in some of our favorite worlds of fiction and imagining a little pocket away from the action where we can sort of throw in a 5th edition D&D adventuring party for some action in unexplored areas of our worlds. Again, this is set in the world of the Wheel of Time, a world that is rapidly reaching its climax point, at least for this group here. If you want to catch up on the rest of our episodes, you can find those at our YouTube channel at the link below. And as always, our next episode will be uploaded next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a podcast-only version of that following shortly afterward. And now we do have to celebrate Leor, surviving last session. And so it wasn't necessarily in the plans, but since it went a lot harder than I intended, and just as a little treat for my sad friends, we leveled up. So everyone's done the groundwork that they have to do, and now we're just going to roll some hit dice, and we're going to start on this end.
We started on this end before.
Yes, I know.
Should we start on this end?
But waiting for Martin to be the culminating...
I know.
That's fair.
It's
exactly.
I want Martin to become a wreck, so you gotta start us off here.
I gotta figure out what you know what?
Everyone rolls HP while I cry. Gets hard to hear.
Yeah, what... I believe in a thing called love. A 5,
okay,
which
that's
is
standard.
Pretty standard, plus 3, so 8.
Okay, cool.
64.
If you roll a 12, I swear to God, I'm going to jump across this table at you.
I kind of know it, to be honest. Oh, no, okay, it's a 5.
Thank you!
Oh, no, sorry, it's an 11.
Oh, sorry, that's cocked. Michelle.
Yeah, no!
Michelle.
It went out.
It's my fault, I made these. There's cork underneath.
5.
Hey,
5, that's good.
This bodes well for you.
Oh,
Martin.
Martin, there's a reason you went last. Martin, please.
It's a 1!
Oh, it could still turn into a 5.
Come on,
please.
You reroll once?
Once.
You reroll ones when you're rolling
You
up.
lucky son of a gun.
Calm down. It's gonna be fun.
Don't throw it out again.
It's a 3.
It was almost a 5,
It was so close to a 5.
I'm not gonna lie, if you got a 5, everyone is starting this session with inspiration. So you only have yourself to blame for everyone missing out on a treat.
And my HP. This is.
Do remember to add an extra 2.
Because I'm a tough cookie.
Yeah, because you inexplicably are tough.
Correct.
kind of like, I feel like you're tough in the way that Wile E. Coyote is tough.
Yeah.
All signs point to you should have been dead a long time ago, and yet somehow you still get back up.
Thank you, Uncle Holden. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Well, I think that while these guys add up their new hit point totals, we're going to give Paige a chance to get her dukes back up and get back out there in the world and keep swinging. As we turn the page and enter the next chapter of Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. Intro. So, last time that we left off, you guys had, having recently arrived at Stedding Jinsoon, gone off to check on the problems that were going on at the Waygate nearby to fulfill Lior's mission. However, arriving there, you saw that the grove that was there had been cut down, and instead of 2 Ogier occupying it, you found instead 2 Trollocs, standing in front of an alarmingly open Waygate. Now, after dispatching those 2, and then the next 2, and then the next 2, I began to IRL despair. However, Lior made the decision in his state of rage, having heard that some of his brethren had been put in a cook pot. In a state of rage, entered the ways, which was where we picked up. However, entering the ways, Lior found his channeling connection to Paige severed, and slowed down. You watched in horror as you were surrounded on all sides, not just by Trollocs, but also by a panicky Fade, desperately trying to escape the great danger within the ways. The Black Wind, Mashin Shin. Tao went in valiantly to try and save Lior, but was unable to get Lior close enough, and then in the interval moment Lior was felled, the connection severed. Paige, in a panic, running in, desperate to save her friend, subjected herself to the malevolent force that you had, to an extent, summoned by yourself by channeling at the Waygate, healing Lior just in time enough for him to crawl out with you in tow. At that last second, with your connection having been re-established with Dirk raced with inhuman speed, finding the trefoil leaf that serves as the key for the Waygate, and running back to throw it in place. It seemed that you were possibly too late as the Murdral began to reach through the gate until stone doors closed, severing just the tips of fingers and leaving the rest of the Dark One's army within to face something worse than their own master. Leaving the crumbling Waygate, you found a vestige of the 2 Ogier who had fallen, and also found a book or a scroll on the side of one of the felled Trollocs that had a simple inscription. If the pretender cannot be made to kneel, he will be cowed. You walked back to the relative safety of the steading through the night and broke the news to the sad elders who, realizing they had sustained a loss that was of an unforeseen nature, were still nonetheless able to rally their forces and send people to watch this unstable Waygate. They also gave you provisions and told you directions of where to march next. As you all resolved, even though Lior's work was finished, ostensibly, you all resolved to continue your way towards the camp of the people of the dragon. And so that's where we pick up. You all, having had a restful morning, catching up with some old family and close ones for Lior through letters. You all stand and make your way once again across the threshold of the steading, returning that familiar trickle of voices to the usual flood that surrounds you, Paige. And although you don't feel the urge to grab at it right away, Dirk, you feel the comfort of knowing that Saidin is near. And that's where we pick up. On the morning of this, your leg of travel to get to the camp of the false dragon, Logain Ablar.
Sometime during the evening, Paige would like to try her hand at, or her new skill rather, to reach out to one of her sisters, Adelaide Sedai.
Yes, having already established a connection, but in a truly ungodly hour of the night.
That's correct.
Previously, yeah.
Dinner time seems to be more appropriate.
You get the sense that you could probably sustain the connection enough to get a short message across of roughly 25 words or so.
Give or take 0.
Give or take
25
0.
words.
I mean, take a bunch. Give none.
None. All right. Paige is going to close her eyes and reach out, trying to find that thread that she recognizes. She's going to say, "Good evening, sister. This is Paige Bundelberg reaching out to you."
You're the only one not counting.
You trust him too much.
Your message has been received.
9 left.
What news? And what is happening as per letter?
Wow.
You find a way to focus these voices and this swirl of sound around you. And typically in the past, like when you had been making your way to Samara, for example, it was usually pretty quiet in your mind. It was usually more of a trickle as you weren't surrounded by too many people. But the more that you have been sort of testing the limits of this strange gift that you've carried since you were a child, the more that, I mean, for one, you're surrounded by people with also turmoil in their minds, so there is that. But the more that just a general resting state is as if you were in a town. And so you are able to pick little parts, and part of why this is so halting is that you are picking out this swirl of voices and just taking, almost like with tweezers, plucking out of the air, word by word, the right ones and shaping them into your own voice. And you send them off invisibly into the air in the direction that you're traveling, which you know is roughly the direction of Tarvalon. And you hear, eventually, just when you're starting to think that it didn't work, you hear, "By the light." How did you figure this out? I'm impressed, Sunuru. I don't know what name that is, but I know you. The message said what it said. I trust you figured it out. Leaves it open-ended.
Can you say where the capitals are in that message?
Can you punctuate that?
Sunuru!
I'm going to reach out again.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, well received, message decoded. What has happened for this to have become of importance? We are headed to the dragon's camp. 4 nights to arrive.
From that, you get back. Again, By the light starts.
Those are 3 words.
Speak more quickly. You are not efficient with by the light. For one thing, you seem to have taken your time getting to the camp. In your absence, many seemed very eager. And you get this swimming bit of voice carries across. Many seemed very eager for reconnaissance. Please update me further.
Okay.
Sounds like a good place to let her stew.
She'll sleep it off. It's fine.
One like fading message. Please respond.
I'm going to leave it there with her for that night.
Sure.
I'm going to try and reach out to Lucille.
Okay.
Sadai. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I'm going to attempt.
Okay, absolutely. So then the same thing that I asked you last time, I believe it's an Arcana check.
My specialty.
It should be.
Ooh. And Lucille was the gray?
That's correct.
Of the gray Adra.
Of the gray Adra, exactly. 17.
17. That seems to be your magic number for Arcana checks. The
I've
last
rolled a
3
16.
Arcana checks you've rolled have all been
Yeah.
17s.
It's all this dice.
This is
What
like
that?
Michelle Monk combat cooked dice.
13.
Yeah, with the 17, you were immediately able to establish, and I think you're partially surprised because it feels like an easier connection is made. It is not, maybe it's just you getting the hang of what this thing is you're doing without any teacher. Maybe it's your greater familiarity and the extra decade of knowing Lucille that you have. But you find it far easier to establish, pinpoint a spot in this sort of, really, you try not to think about it too much because you're realizing you're tapping into a, like, hundreds of miles wide span of this network of voices. And you try not to think about it because when you do think about it, the voices start going like, and crescendoing. So you shut that down, but you find it very easy to form a connection with Lucille.
Fantastic. Would I be able to use that connection to send a message, or was
Totally.
that opening it up?
Yeah, if you've still got a slot for it on the day.
I have sorcery points that I can use for that. So
Yes.
the message I will send to Lucille will be,
Good evening, sister. It's Cash. What news? Hope you are safe and well.
I will
That's
end
it?
it early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Much quicker, you get a response.
By the light.
No, but in a parallel, you get blood and ashes. Cash. Child. Sister. This is incredible. News. Events outside the tower have gotten a little bit hairy. Myself and Reg trying to figure out diplomatic approach to ending it. This is remarkable. I feel like my accent's changed. I got a little bit crikey. That's the end of the message.
Yeah, definitely more than
Fix that.
25 words, yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I will end it there for that evening.
Yeah. But you can, like, with that, over the next 3 evenings, if you feel like you've reached a point, even when you're taking a watch, and you feel like I probably don't need to save these to pop off, you can check back in with them. And I imagine you...
I would with Lucille.
Yeah.
But with Lucille, it would be glad to know you're safe. And very not mission specific.
Yeah.
And with Adelaide Sadai, I wouldn't send her more than 2 messages a night.
Yeah.
And it would be information that I've gathered, approximate numbers, the distances, things that happened in Morburn, finding out about the captured soldiers, potentially more little things like that, giving her as much as I know, just to show her that I haven't been slacking or anything. Yeah,
and you could see that some of like the wonderment has like sort of worn off at like what you're doing, so she doesn't waste 3 words anymore.
That's great.
At some point you communicate, please be brief. Some of the wonderment wears off. Sometimes she wastes things going like, really, the best you could come up with was, the rocks, they're coming. But mostly
Cut so deep.
Mostly she's communicating, essentially like, glad that you have picked up the cipher, you've picked up the meaning of different messages that you've picked up along the way. Those were intended from you, and to assure you that, yes, your mission is still to go and attend. It seems that, and this, roll me an insight check, actually.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
I'm going to burn a sorcery point if I roll garbage.
Totally.
It's garbage. It's 3.
Burn one.
16.
I mean, it's a 15 on the die.
It has to be on the cork. That's my rule.
Oh, it's another 3.
I mean, listen, you're gonna eventually. You have 4 days.
That's right.
Eventually, you figure out she's still very gruff towards you and very dismissive about your accomplishments. But what you're reading from Adelaide Sedai and figuring out is that she is choosing her words very carefully to give you specific information about the network of the Blues.
Okay.
Which was, as we saw before in sort of like a flashback for you, something she was loath to do. And like, her helping you out on this assignment was something she begrudgingly did because she was ordered from above her head.
Yeah.
So you're sensing that you might have earned a little bit of her respect. Not all of it, certainly not all of it, but
there's some progress there.
Yes, she might see potential in you now. She might not see you as just a danger. She sees potential.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Good.
I usually see potential when you sell out your friends, you know?
That is, I'm gonna send.
You just burn the rest of your spells to like talk in his head, which you could do usually. But
do you know the promotions I could get for selling her your head?
The rest of you guys, basically, what I'm gonna do is we're just covering the 4 days here, as you can sort of see, with messages pinging back and forth. We're covering 4 days here. Is there anything that you wish to do? Anything that you're thinking about? Anyone that you're sort of pulling for like a conversation as you make this journey? Any fallout of what you've all experienced?
I think Lior would try and find a moment with Tal. Sometime when perhaps the other 2 are occupied, just have a moment to ourselves. And, Tal, tell me a little bit about Sammy. You've told me so much about your other brothers, but I feel like I haven't heard much about him.
Sammy was the brother I always wanted to be. He always seemed to be at the right place at the right time, say the right word, make the right joke, be serious when it was time to be serious, and fun when it was time to be fun. He made moving through the world look easy. And I wanted moving through the world to be easy too. But I usually just put my foot in my mouth.
Well, I think you're shaping up to be more like him every day.
I hope so. Because, if I can pull him out of this, man, I'm never going to let him live it down.
Well, he's lucky to have you looking for him.
I won't tell Mama, but I will certainly tell Felix.
Question for you, Tal. Your brothers, all of you, even Cyrus and Otto, you seem the type to die rather than to betray your country.
guess so.
What do you think they have on Sammy that you think he would be willing to give them information?
I never really thought that they would have anything on him. But I don't really think that they're giving him the option to die. I think they're probably putting him through just about everything but, though.
That may be the case. I
hope not.
I hope not as well. But, well, we will do everything we can to save him.
Maybe the information's not coming from Sammy.
Perhaps. We don't know if there were others.
Right.
It sounds like that whole village was taken by surprise. I made a grave mistake the other day. I let my feelings guide me in a way that was foolish. I would just hope that should we be put in a situation, you recognize that while family is the most important thing, and I'll look to the other two doing whatever they're doing.
You're brain blasting, and you're
slashing it like a tree.
Uncomfortably looking at her brain blasting. Sure. You're every bush you come across in this tundra, you are taking an opportunity to
There still comes a moment when we must think with our heads. I realize that it seems a little bit hypocritical coming from me at the moment, but I think I would never have been able to forgive myself had any of you died in the ways, trying to save me for my mistake. I wouldn't want you to have to live with something similar.
My papa always told me that I never think with my head. But my mama said it was okay because I was thinking with my heart. Does that count?
Well, then I guess I'm in good company. But, well, let's do our best to try.
And get Sammy out.
Yes. I feel like we're heading into a viper's nest, and yet I know nothing of the terrain or what to expect. It makes me nervous.
I'll kind of look at Paige and look at Dirk to make sure they're not really listening. I'll be like, can I tell you a secret?
Of course, anything.
I'm really scared.
Me too.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
It's okay to be scared. Except for Paige. Paige is fearless.
Maybe I'll be Paige one day. No, I won't.
Probably for the best.
I can hear both of you.
Tuning in, you're both
the hell you say about me. Roll me a history check if you don't mind, Tala.
It's been a while since anyone called me that. Since Felix told me to go home. History?
History.
13.
I think you recall sort of one of the features of the land up here. The way that Gildan's borders work is that they sort of come to a point. Technically, a lot of the land up here that you're about to be walking into is not actually Gildan, but I think technically Altara. But functionally, that land belongs to Gildan. And you know this because of a very particular lesson that you received from your mentor, Byron, who, one of the first days that he met like a 10-year-old you and saw you just trying to beat up a fence post outside of your farm and showed you where to strike properly with your knuckles. And sometimes just go for the palm. It's better. shortly after this, he starts telling you about his career as an army man in the Legion of the Wall. And you go and you check out his horrifying, like, hermit cabin, which at first your father accompanied you to, and then saw that nothing sketchy was going on. So eventually, you know, they built up a relationship and you were allowed to go off on your own. Inside his cabin is just like an armory. There is a room for a bed. There is a small little stove, a wood burning stove, and just swords. Somehow he's adding more now that he's here. He's finding them somewhere in this farming village.
Where are you getting them from?
I keep telling you, focus on what's important here. Where I get my swords is my business and it's not yours. Your business is learning about this great country.
Can you teach me how to use one?
No, but... okay. What was I saying to you? Why is the army called what it's called?
'Cause there's a wall?
Yeah, what wall?
The wall around Gildane?
No!
Pulls down...
Well, to an extent, yes.
Pulls like a projector screen down from the ceiling.
And like stick my tongue out behind his back.
It's got a map that he's drawn of the very pointy tip of Gildane. He's colored it in like beautiful. Somehow he's like papier-mâché'd so that there's topographic like areas for the Mountains of Mist. There's a passion project of his. You don't know how it rolled up. You're not going to ask too many questions.
Doesn't it just okay?
But rendered in far less detail is the neighboring country of Altara, which also comes up to a sharp point. But part of Altara that he has drawn is this incredibly, like, strong-looking just line, this ridge that emerges. He goes,
Gildan doesn't have too much going for it. But what this country does have is the strength of the land. Now, we have the Mountains of Mist on one side, but a general named Garen, hundreds of years ago, defended Gildan from the entire continent just by holding them off at the wall. This pass in the north of the country. It's Garen's wall. And so, if that's the last line of defense for the land, then the Legion of the Wall, we're the last line of defense for the people. That's our job that we're proud to do.
Tal's just like... Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're very proud to do it until someone says, oh, you're too old, why don't you go retire? And you say no for like 6 years. And then they just kind of make you do it.
As soon as he starts going off on that...
Gripping the chair, it's like splintering.
As soon as he starts going off of that, Tal, who's clearly heard this before, just starts going... But how does it roll up?
No, you know it's ageism is what it...
But you remember that, like, this northern tip of Gildan, the very far end of it, that is technically in Altera's territory, but they have no presence up there. The very end of it is the wall. And that's... Garen's wall is the strongest defense that the country has because it is, like, effectively... the Grand Canyon, but only on one side. So as long as you defend the wall, you're good.
I imagine there's a Legion of the Wall garrison up there. Maybe?
Not to your knowledge.
Oh, it seems dumb.
Seems silly, but Gildan hasn't been at war for a long time.
Also true.
Yeah, so that comes up when Lior talks about not knowing the terrain that you guys are walking into.
So there's this thing called the wall, okay?
Garen's wall.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so you sort of get a sense and you pull out your map and you do see there is like a real strong delineated section for Garen's wall that you are drawing closer to every day.
Is that following the directions we were given? Is that like pretty much where we're headed, or?
Yeah, they told you to go northeast, and by golly, Garen's wall is northeast of here.
Keep in line with the tallest mountains of Mist.
Yes. Dirk, how's everything going in that brain?
Things are shaping up.
Okay.
As soon as we left the steading, and you know everybody's trying to have their personal conversations, I see Paige channeling over there doing her little brain blast thing. At first I get a little worried because I'm expecting voices in my head. And then I realize, well, I don't know. Do I realize that no one else is hearing Paige in their head when she's brain blasting?
You can see the two of them in deep conversation. Paige not really looking at anyone, starting to do the thing where like you're texting and walking, and you're walking out of the direction you should be going. Paige is doing a little bit of that.
Okay, so I'll just, now that I see that everybody's kind of momentarily distracted, I'm gonna start practicing myself. I felt a little upset, and I can't tell anybody else, but I didn't really have control of myself in that fight. There was a lot of channeling happening, and it wasn't all me. So I'm going to try to control that flame now. Okay. And I want to practice, like, tapping into the one power, but not, like, always opening up myself fully. Just, like, allowing slivers through so I can, like, start practicing the elements that Paige taught me. The fire, the water, air. And as I, like, cut through things, I want to see if I can, like, channel those elements to kind of, like, affect my swings, or see if I could like make it like something like, oh, it just slices more fine and like no one notices, but the wind picks up a little bit. Like,
yeah.
I like just poke a tree, but like it goes deep within because I'm sizzling through with fire.
Sure. Give me a charisma check. That's your spellcasting modifier. We'll go charisma check.
Amazing. 10.
You cycle through, and you do sort of, you're figuring it out in moments where like, you know, you're picking things that you feel like you could mask it pretty well with. For water, you just lackadaisically trail your sword along the ground behind you, and then flourish it up dramatically and sort of like take some snow up with you. And when you do, you sort of have a moment of focus, and you see that you make the snowflakes turn and start to settle, and then you make them turn once again. You feel like, okay, there's something. You manage to find like one little sickly looking plant that doesn't look like it's going to make it through, and you just draw out some of the earth and a little bit of fire, and you see it sort of melt away as if under acid. While they're having this conversation and Paige is fully concentrated, you go to swing through a bush, feeling confident how that's going, and it just immediately like a dramatic fire. And while none of them are looking, you're trying to like you're taking your cloak a little bit. Put it out. They're gonna see. Put it out right now.
Yeah, just make some water.
Just need some water.
So no, the ancient general named Garen.
He's just throw some snow on it.
Yeah. But you do manage to figure out ways that you might be able to, you know, not necessarily substitute what you were trained for, but maybe heighten your training with a bit of control. And you're feeling good about this. And even the voice is responding, going, see, we're under control.
Easy peasy.
We know exactly what we're doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing. You're just helping.
Who's helping?
You are, Tal, because I needed to have a conversation with you. Are you done with Leor?
Yeah, we can take up the history lesson a little bit later. I mean, it sounds like we only started, I think.
I have to really, I really have to describe this guy's map. I don't know how he did it.
Is it like this one?
Oh, that's so good.
I'll tell you about it later.
Sounds good.
Meanwhile, Paige is like, am I having a heart attack?
You pull a piece of burning toast out of the ether. Roll me a few, like 3 wisdom saving throws, because we're traveling for a few days here.
Would I be able to, maybe not affect this, but at night, I would talk to Dirk and try and set up a little bit of a lesson in the evening. It would be mainly focusing on what I assume is the voice and the control it's trying to have on Dirk, and the lessons would be in hopes to separate his powers from the will of the voice and say you are most in control when you are keeping the voice at bay. Your power is full of potential, but it is best used when you are focusing on it and when you are mastering it. Something like that.
Roll me a wisdom check.
Would you know about this voice he's hearing?
He's told me about
Yeah,
the voice.
yeah. He hasn't told us, but he's told.
And there was a
On the
moment
boat.
before
Yeah.
the
I'm on a boat.
Wisdom check.
Secret.
It's a 6.
It's a 6?
It's a 6.
Yeah. So you try your best at certain moments, and I think you're keyed into this too, and wanting to know more, trying to figure out what you can learn. But I think you pretty quickly realize that you guys, in terms of channeling, you speak sort of dissonant languages. You try and talk to Dirk about how channeling is like envisioning a flower and pouring all of your energy into it so that it can open and bloom, and that's when the moment of happens and you can embrace the one power. But that doesn't square with you, because for you it is more akin to the galloping horses of a river flood from Lord of the Rings. That you have to root your feet as strong as you can into the silt underground so that it doesn't tear you away. But good God, the power that you feel when that happens. And a bit undercut by some of your teaching about separating the voice is you feel like, how can I separate the voice from the spirit? Because I'm pretty sure that's what is going on, which the voice has no issue reminding you, like, I am part of this. She can't take that away. And as much as you might want to listen to Paige, I think it's really tough to convey some of that messaging. How'd you do?
11, 13, 8.
11, 13, 8.
Not as good as the other days.
Not as great as the other days, no.
You were on fire last
I was on
session. Last 2 sessions.
You've been on fire most of the time.
Yeah.
Now Paige is going to be on fire.
You know, I think you find yourself at certain times you've happily practiced and feel like you have a grasp on it, but like over the next few days, it's just like there's a tree, try again. Yeah. And you feel like you have, and nonetheless, you're compelled to do so. And you're practicing more than you had maybe planned. But this practicing it's in conversation. It's staying and talking in a parking lot long after your dinner is ended because you're with a friend. And so these moments of like conversation about what you can do with something that understands are present. And at one point, there's a voice that says, "You said I'm in control about yourself."
Yeah.
But that doesn't make any sense.
Well, of course it does.
No. You're in my head.
No, this is my body. You're a voice in my head. And I just take a quick glance. Like, I'm sure of it, but I just look down and, like, flex my hand and my fingers. Did you make me lose my fingernail?
What are you? Your body?
And I'm looking around, like, I'm still feeling...
All I know is one day you just showed up, and suddenly I had company. And it's this weird dissonant thing because you're questioning a lot of things, but at the same token, this is like a voice that is... This voice, it has to be in your head because this is the voice of your brother, and you know that it's just some menacing thing that is just like your subconscious. No, that can't be. As long as we're working together, huh? As long as you don't try and keep it from me. Gaslighting.
Yeah,
No.
I wouldn't keep it from you. You would already know if you were in my head. So yeah, you already... Well, there's nothing we can keep from each other.
That's right. There's nothing we can keep from each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're here to protect them.
Of course.
Of course.
With this great ability we have, what good is it for if we don't use it for its best potential?
Exactly. And then they agree, so...
Right. and you run a hand through your hair, and a bunch of black hair with blonde roots comes out in your hand.
That's not supposed to.
Put your hood back up. You look ridiculous.
Do you think they noticed?
No.
Okay. Yes. We'll tell Tal. And I'll just kind of wander over, like my eyes are a little glazed over. I feel like we haven't got a chance to talk recently.
I was gonna say the same thing.
You know, and that's a little bit on my part. You know, I've been dealing with what happened, you know, with the whole Dirk's a channeler thing. I know that was kind of scary. And I didn't mean to keep that secret from you for a while. But I felt like it was best to protect you and not be too close while I was figuring things out. But the good news is, I've got things pretty much figured out. I've been practicing, and with the help of everybody, I think we're good. But I just wanted to let you know I understand if you were a little bit worried or you don't want to be too close to me anymore. I just will do the thing for your brother.
Girls go to the tower. Boys don't channel. But I was always told there was a reason that boys don't channel, and it's because they turn out like Dagger Guy who tried to kill us all. But you're not like that.
Blink less. You look suspicious.
That's not always true. I mean, there are some effects to it that, like, I mean, for example, like, it's not a big deal, but like, for example, my body's getting a little bit weaker, right? The magic, the channeling is just...
Careful.
You should know this, though.
Didn't you say that it made you stronger, and that's why your brother was angry?
Yeah. It's supposed to make me stronger. Right?
We're strong. What are you... Don't listen. Hey, don't listen to her. You don't need to listen.
So, never mind. It may be I'm feeling weird recently with how much danger we've been through in that thing through the way gate that Lior's bringing. I thought Lior had no secrets. That thing was...
Oh, hang on. What are you talking about, Lior bringing something through the gate?
No, I'm just saying that I thought we were the only one that had messed up pasts, and Lior's Waygate was a really big shock, you know, monsters, and...
They weren't Lior's monsters, though. They were monsters using the Waygates that belonged to all Ogier. That's what I understood.
Yeah. So we're gonna get your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Really easy, but I mean, this is a camp of the dragon. Are we gonna sneak in there? It's gonna be hard with Lior.
I think we're gonna have to see what we're up against when we get there. I can't even imagine what the camp looks like.
It's gonna be big.
Yeah. Hopefully they keep all of their prisoners right at the edge of camp, because nobody wants to be around them.
Listen to her. She's not making any sense. You don't need to talk to her. You don't need to...
And I think it's starting to get so, like, there's a certain degree to which it starts pressing at, like,
She's stupid. She doesn't have any good ideas.
That it starts to bother you.
Yeah.
And I think at a certain point, you mentally, you know, maybe during this section, you're saying this and Dirk frowns. And I think you're at a certain moment able to square away, like, no, you don't talk about Tal that way.
Yeah.
And you're able to shut it out. And you sort of... And you're back to yourself a month ago, maybe. And you feel, ooh, this is a slippery slope.
Not likely, though.
Not likely. It was a mistake. I'm really tired, Tal. Maybe...
What was a mistake?
I should sleep before I talk, because I'm speaking gibberish right now. I'm just so worried about not finding Sammy.
It's pretty late in the day, too, so...
Yeah.
Is that you?
That's me. I realized it was a bit too casual.
It's pretty late in the day, so...
No, it's getting kind of late in the day, so being tired makes sense, you know?
But I do want I do want to assure you, we're going to do this together. But once we have Sammy, I think it might be best if, maybe I'll go learn from Paige a little bit. Maybe I can hang out with Lior. But I think it would be best if, you were safe back in the city. I have a lot of people chasing me. I don't want them to chase you too. I'd rather they chase Paige.
Did I do something wrong?
To be honest, no, you actually did a lot of things right. I did a lot of things wrong, turns out.
As long as we stick together, you and I will be able to take on anything.
Anything.
Tal, give me an insight check.
It's just gonna ask for one. Not great.
But you have expertise, no?
It's still not great.
Oh no.
3, 9.
Yeah. You say as long as we stick together and
Ooh! 12.
12. Yeah, you have expertise.
Yes. I forgot to add my wisdom.
Okay.
12.
Yeah, you say as long as we stick together, and Dirk's sort of had a bit of a weird energy, but you've all had a bit of a weird energy the last few days. It's cold, I'm not making you guys roll con saves, but effectively you're all ending every day 1 or 2 levels exhausted because of the winter conditions you're walking in. And you could tell sort of when you hit that rally, hey, as long as we stick together, that towards the end of that conversation, Dirk's picking back up a little bit, You all lie down for your last night of sleep on your journey, and Dirk, it's sort of the voice interfering with it's fine for it to mess with your reality a little bit to an extent. I'm
in control.
You're smart enough to know that that's not real and it's just your head. But when it starts interacting with the world around you and telling you things about the people you're near, all of a sudden now you're tracking back to all the times that you've had these suspicions about Paige, and a lot of them were very pertinent suspicions, but there was a very strong voice needling you for both Paige and Lior when you met them to just get it over with. They can't be trusted. And you're starting to track this sort of disturbing trend that's built itself up. So very purposefully, you steel your mind as clear-headed as you can. You go down to sleep. And you awake in a dark corridor. This corridor, you are sitting in the end of it in a large chair. There are torch sconces along the walls, and just a echoing. There's no sound, but there is some sort of echoing that is so distant that all you're hearing is the reverberations, and you can't tell what the sound is, but something is at the end of this hallway. What do you do?
Feeling pretty comfy in this chair, but I need to see what this sound is. Can I try to make noise? I'll just be like, hello?
Fades into nothing as the sound travels down the hallway.
Won't do that again. And I'll just start walking towards the hallway carefully. I'll try to reach for my belt to see if I have my sword and where my shield.
You have your sword with you, you have your shield with you, and you look down and actually in this place you're wearing your cloak, but unthrifted, let's say, uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
It is once again the white cloak that oddly gives you comfort sort of in here. And you walk down the hallway, and you walk for a long time, a time that you can't necessarily track the length of. And after you feel like you've walked for ages without finding anything, you just hear a voice behind you that says, "Ah. Let me know your face."
I'll turn around slowly, but I'll have my shield kind of over half of my face with my sword drawn, and I'll just turn around to see who's there.
And as you turn around, you see inexplicably that you're right at the beginning of the hallway, maybe about 25 feet away from this chair that you began in which is sitting a man whose face you can't see, in a high-collared black shirt and silken black pants that reflect the only little bit of light that is in here, who just seems to be looking down, but says, the shield won't do much. I've seen enough.
Who the blazes are you?
But no, you're not him.
I'm me.
Are you?
Yes.
I've gathered that is a bit of a situation in flux right now.
I'll back up a step and like turn around behind me to see if like there's anything behind me. The corridor's still there.
You turn around and as you take a step back, the wall has closed. And now that is the end of the corridor, and you turn back and just as close, maybe 5 feet closer, looks up and goes, No, you're not the one.
Which one?
That doesn't matter. You've had a hard few years, haven't you, Dirk Talon?
They've been fine.
I think we both know they haven't. And looks up, and you could see, just for the first time, you see red eyes looking up at you.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to
Peering
freak out a little bit. I'm going to drop my sword and quickly grab a hand axe at my side and just kind of whip it up.
Yeah. And you see, doesn't even make a move to get around it. There's just a flicker, and all of a sudden, the chair is to the side. The hand axe goes sailing down to where there was a wall before, clattering down, and the same reverberating wall of sound echo effect. I don't think you understand. This isn't something that you can fight.
This is a dream. I just need to wake up.
Of course it's a dream, but that doesn't make it any less real.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of pinch myself to wake up. Like, I've even take a hand axe and like tentative put it back.
Smart man. Tell me, do you feel that you've been given a fair lot in this life?
No, but does anybody?
Some more than others. You've spent your life for, and points to your cloak that, as you look at it, fades up in cinders. For the light. And look what it gave you. Branded as a monster made to be on the run. Until what little spark you have consumes you.
What's happening to me is not normal. And they're right to chase me to some degree.
That's because you could be something better. And then at this point, this weird tunnel vision, you blink and all of a sudden the figure is standing up, still can't see the face, 10 feet away from you, 9 feet away from you.
Stay back.
Serve me.
I don't serve anybody.
5 feet away from you in a blink.
Serve me. Oh my god, this is kind of scary. No, I'm just gonna try to swing out with my sword.
You swing out with your sword, and the figure, a white smile in the darkness, lit only now by the red of the eyes, and goes, I know your face. And as your sword connects, the body erupts in flames and travels down your arm, leaving you waking up in the cold.
That's terrifying.
With a burn on your sizzling hand.
I put it in the snow. Make sure no one else is up.
No one else is up.
Whoever's on watch, I imagine.
Oh, good evening, Dirk.
I'll bring it up. It's burned.
It's burned, but not too badly.
I look at it. I'll look around. Do I get the feeling that that figure was kind of the voice somehow incarnate or some form of the one power?
No. The voices are pretty similar with me in person, but the way I'm going to edit it, they're going to sound a little bit
very
different.
good. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dirk is worried that that was the Dark One. Or some form of that. But he feels as if he pushed him off. He was able to say no, which means he must still, be able to control this somewhat. So as he finds that burn on his hands, and everybody's still sleeping, I'm just going to take a deep breath, put it on the snow, and just tap into my lay on hands. And just use 5 points, if you'll allow, to just kind of get rid of that burn and close up the wound. I'd probably try to do it to the fingernail too, but it probably won't work.
No.
And yeah.
You cauterized that a long time ago.
Yeah. I'll just take a deep breath and be like, okay, that's okay.
As you're healing your hand, the last thing spreads from wrist up, and the last thing you see is that 2 pockets of red almost refuse to be covered, almost like 2 eyes staring at you. And as you remember that cold voice saying, "I know your face," they do eventually close up, clean skin with the rest of your hand.
Everything is going to be fine.
And the sun rises, and it's time for you guys to go on your last day of travel. Everyone give me a survival check.
Hey, Dirk.
Natural 20.
Are you getting old?
Well, every day you get a little bit older. Why?
You're kind of going...
Oh, yeah. It was probably in the last fight. I'll just put the hood up. I think it got... we were next to some weird magic. Those Trollocs were huge. I think one of them ripped some hair out.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Glad to hear you're not balding.
Dirk does usually have his hood up, so that seems feasible. How do we do?
Natural quattro.
Okay.
13.
Yeah.
15.
Natural 20.
Essential.
Yes. Natural 20. You spot in the morning, as you're on your 4th day and starting to think, maybe we're coming up on something quickly here. You spot a couple of sets of footprints that seem to be working their way sort of northward. It's not a totally barren land, and in fact, you can see sort of ahead of you, there is a bit of a forest or a bit of woods that open up. So as you've been walking across this stretch of land, it's less tundra and more like isolated pockets of woods. And you start to see that there are tracks of human boot prints that some new, some older, but it snowed yesterday near where you were walking, and you see what looks like fresh boot prints, 2 sets of them, winding their way sort of south of you, looking like they were coming from the north into a stand of trees.
Does that, would I interpret that maybe as they could be scouts?
I think with the natural 20, yeah, because you're walking towards an army, and it makes sense if you were to have even a rebel one, if you have some sort of camp. Any self-respecting tactician would have scouts guarding the perimeter.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll stop us and point down and go, there are people probably nearby, some scouts. They may either see us or report us before we can get to the camp. I'm not sure if we want to deviate and try to find them.
It might be a good idea if we want to press them for information.
And you're gonna see that Paige looks down and smirks and looks up at Leor and says, "Quite a journey we've embarked on since we've met, huh?"
I wasn't expecting this, I'll tell you that.
Nor was I. What is our next step in this? What is our game plan? We're stepping in to the camp of the false dragon.
Why are you saying that with so much glee?
We're going to save Sammy. That's our next step, right? Right?
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yes.
How is that going to happen?
I figured we'd have to see the camp first.
You're right. Should we scout it out ourselves? I'm not sure if, force is going to be our best asset in this. Is infiltration going to be what we try and do?
I just had a really bad thought.
Do tell.
Are you going to try and pretend that I'm your prisoner again?
No!
Oh, it sounds worse.
I'm gonna dress you up like a Trolloc!
Hey, for everyone at home, in truly every game I've ever played with Michelle, you've done something crazy with the disguise kit. Tried to make kobolds look like dwarves because of horizontal beards. I will never forget about that. It's just so funny that this is always your fallback of how are we gonna infiltrate something? I'm gonna dress you up as something nuts.
I don't even think I'm proficient with a disguise kit.
Even better.
I don't think so.
I don't think I have a disguise kit.
I don't think so.
I have carpentry tools.
No, you don't have a. Tal doesn't have a disguise kit. Tal got a haircut.
No, I have carpentry tools. And weaver's tools.
And thieves' tools.
Thieves' tools.
That you're not proficient in.
Yeah.
But I'm proficient with the carpentry and the weaver. I'm just gonna, carve you out a headdress to look like a Trolloc.
I mean...
you have a face that I can do that.
Is that what you're interpreting?
I think I might be.
Okay, so... Okay.
Roll to persuade DM.
Tal,
I
must object.
Okay, what's everyone else planning on? If you were trying to find a chunk of wood large enough that you can carve a Trolloc,
Tal is
horn
just backing
piece.
Lior up, and Lior is trying to do the
It's gonna take you a little while to find a big enough thing.
But they straight up said there was no way we were gonna get you into the camp. You're a giant Ogier. We can't hide you.
I mean, there has to be another way. Look, there's scouts. How about we go find the scouts? I'm just saying.
Let's brainstorm.
Can you magically make him smaller? Can you channel something?
No, I haven't.
That does sound like magic and not channeling, which is far more realistic. Magic, that sounds, yeah.
That's
You're going to pull a
ridiculous.
rabbit out of a hat? Get out.
I don't know how channeling works.
It's what you were saying the other day with the ball. No, I don't know if dressing up Lior as a Trolloc is the best course of action. We might think that's a good idea, and then they might kill him on the spot, which is...
I almost did, yeah.
Well, you guys will be honest about, whether... Oh, wait, are Trollocs on their side?
No,
I don't think Trollocs are
I think
on
we just
anyone's
learned
side.
that he was trying to get on the side.
Two separate things.
Yeah, separate things.
With a nat 20, when Tal says, I'm going to dress you up as a Trolloc, you immediately go back to the tracks and try and figure out what's going on with them. You can also see that slightly older, not as fresh, and you at first don't see it because they seem to have stamped down the same area multiple times. You can see the toes of the boots pointing back northward. It looks like there is a route that they're walking back and forth to an extent.
Never mind.
So where you are right now, at some point, they will be coming back.
They'll be coming back.
Yes.
So let's deviate from the last plan I made. Turns out this is on their route. They aren't
worth a
stationed somewhere, but we might be able to find them if we follow their tracks.
Are we following them, or are we going to stay here and then they come and then we yoink them?
Well, that's the surprise part.
Do we want to apprehend them, or is that where...
Kill them. No.
We've come so far.
We have.
It was a jest.
Or do we want to make our sales pitch at that point? Say we are looking to join their forces, that we've had differences with our peers back in the city, that you as an Ogier are misunderstood by the rest, that you seek adventure in the way that may bring you power.
I like it. I just think if news got to Morburn...
Who's got a passive perception higher than 9?
Ooh, me.
Everyone.
You all hear the sound of people walking through underbrush around the corner from the stand of trees that you are right next to towards you.
We need to kill them. Oh.
What?
I trip Lior to the ground and put my sword to his throat.
Oh, no, okay.
Prisoner it is.
Let me be clear. The sound is coming from around a thing of trees that you are standing right next to. Okay. Are you sure that's what you want to do?
We'll hide.
Okay, thank you. Everyone roll me a stealth check.
I'm being abused by my teammates.
23.
Well.
Oh no.
15.
Look, I tried, okay?
Leo pretends to be a tree. 17.
17?
Yeah.
23?
Mm-hmm.
4.
4.
What if you like grow the plants in front of you?
It requires singing down.
Oh. Hold on, I need my calculator. 23, 17?
Yeah, 15.
4, 15?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys hide in the trees. And I'm gonna cut the recording there and restart it because we're gonna run out of space for a second.
Okay.
You hide behind the trees and hear the sounds walking back around the corner as you hear two voices talking to each other and just kind of laughing. Wait. What's that in the trees? Who is that? And you look and you see you have been hiding with this makeshift Trolloc helmet out of like twigs that you have woven, and you have just tried to take it off, but you went and you see two figures through the brush that you can't quite see staring at you through the woods. We're gonna break for 2 seconds to resolve that. So, Lior, you've been seen, and you can't quite make out any features, but you see through the brush, you see two figures looking and going, "What is that?"
I'm so sorry. Please don't shoot me. I'm from the steading.
Paige is gonna jump out.
Paige, you jump out and you see a person with short brown hair immediately wheeling around to you with an axe, but not wheeling around and looking at the trees going, I know that, oh no. And as the rest of you jump out, you turn and you see, dropping a sword to the ground, one of the great persimmon thieves who ran off when he discovered that one of his companions was channeling.
Sword guy?
Sword guy dropping his sword and just going like, What are you doing? You followed me this whole way?
Yes. And I'll come out and I'll just like have a sword on my back. We've been following you for weeks now.
No. Oh God, Mikkel, don't, these guys will kill you. And the one with the axe is like, oh no, she doesn't look so tough. I'm like, no, put down your weapons. Make an intimidation check, everybody.
Do it.
Am I still in hiding, or am I seen?
Your choice.
Alright, I'll be just a pair of eyes in the forest.
Okay. So your intimidation check doesn't matter unless it's huge.
Oh.
Laser eyes.
I was gonna say eyes in the darkness. Ah!
Paige was gonna be like, oh, but I rolled a 19, so she's gonna like look at me like and just square up.
But she's not afraid. Oh no.
Little steps.
21.
21.
Dirk trips a little bit on a 10.
21 from you is the one that really matters. Guy goes, Okay. And Sword, you just hear Sword is muttering, God, unbelievable first week on patrol. Absolutely unbelievable. What?
Well?
Good day, gentlemen. What are your names?
Sword. Goes, This is Mikkel. And points to the new one with the axe. And the one with the bit of a taller one with sort of all your interactions with him prior, which was just the one time for most of you, but for Tal, you had met him on the road in a session 0 time. Always had a bit of a sneer. That sneer is just totally gone, and just this like void look on his face. It says, I am Terran.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, Mikael, that Terran over here used to travel with channelers? Some bad news.
He goes, I didn't know. Mikkel goes, I mean, we work for a channeler, so I guess, not the end of the world.
Okay, good to know.
Good. They admitted it.
Good, yeah.
We found the right people.
And they both go, damn it. You're not finding the camp without us, so, or no, you're not finding the camp. Yeah, that was me. You'll never find the camp you'll never find the camp.
Yeah,
that's what we heard, and so we're really happy we ran into you two. Shall we get on our way? Do you want to sit down? Maybe have a glass of water?
No, we can part ways and just be done with it. I think that's good.
No. You're on patrol. That would be ridiculous. For you two to come down here, not have seen anyone, and then us four just stride into camp, introducing ourselves and making you two look like fools. I think we should walk back all together. That way, you can say you have found 4 more supporters.
No, Are you supporters?
Listen, we want to get back to the camp as quickly as you want to get back to the camp. And we're going to be heading there anyways, so don't make us dismember you. It's just a joke. Come on, Taryn.
I'm not joking. I was really going to cut off their legs. I really enjoyed what you said, Paige.
We don't want to actually play the evil card. We just want to let them know we mean business and that we finally found our people.
Roll me a deception check on finally found our people.
Perfect. If I have the actor's feat, can I pretend
No.
I'm acting
no.
as...
No, because then you're telling me that every deception check is persuasion, so that's not true. It's not lying.
That's old. It's 17.
17?
17.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
That's like an 8.
It's a 9.
Oh.
And you're very insightful in the same way that I can lie.
You have expertise in deception?
No, I don't. We just have the same modifier. So.
5 plus 3. 8.
8. Yeah.
9
Wild.
plus, yeah.
Wild. No.
I forgot the question. What?
No.
No to what?
No. Mikkel, these guys tried to fight us because we were people of the dragon. They don't want to join the dragon.
You got that wrong. We tried to fight you because you stole the persimmons.
I pretty distinctly remember me saying, "Dragon's might, new world, new rules," and then your friend swung a stick at me.
Yeah, we didn't like your rules because you were stealing from old ladies.
That's pretty much the only reason we came after you.
We were heading there before you were heading there. Now, don't go around and tell people lies like that. That's ridiculous.
No, we're not supposed to bring outsiders into the camp unless we're sure that they're sworn to the cause.
Listen, I strongly suggest...
They just need proof that we're sworn to the cause. How can we prove it to you?
To be quite honest, Mikkel speaks up. To be quite honest, I don't think any Ogier is convincing as a person who's trying to join the cause.
This man, not but a week ago, exploded someone's chest.
That's great.
He's dedicated to the cause.
We've moved this far east because the people at the Stadang kicked us out of their area.
They kicked us out too. They got a good look at this one. Does he look and sound like a regular Ogier to you? He's hasty, impulsive, prone to violence.
Born killer.
To be quite honest, he hasn't said much of anything yet. Make me a persuasion check, Dirk. Yar. Destroy.
That was a roller coaster of emotion. 12 persuasion.
I think you say, like, this is not like other Ogier. This is not like other Ogier. What do you say?
Arr.
Yeah.
But you kind of smile while you do it. No, he's got a twinkle in his eye. No. No. I think it's best if you move on.
I'll step out of the woods.
And and they suddenly reevaluate their numbers, seeing someone who Taryn did not really see do much fighting. Someone who Taryn did not really see, and you did some fighting, but they figured 2 versus 1.5 maybe. Taryn then all of a sudden sees someone who did quite a bit of fighting against. Goes, whoa!
I'm gonna have one of my darts in my hand. I'm gonna flip it.
Oh no.
You remember Stellan?
Yes, I remember Stellan.
The dart that killed him.
Intimidation check. Oh, with advantage.
She's out of She's out of control.
She's a menace. She's a loose cannon.
But she's still a he.
Don't listen to the voice, Tal. Control yourself.
18.
18. Ooh. What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Where do you keep your prisoners?
Kind of work throughout the camp.
Where do they stay for the night?
That depends. There's a lot of different volunteers.
The soldiers that you've captured.
Got anyone in particular in mind? Most of them not long for this world.
Any of them that are left?
Yeah, there's one left.
What's his name?
Millen.
I'll step forward. I'll hold up the dart.
Trying to posture at you, but like wiping his hands down on his pants.
You saw what I did to people who stole persimmons. That's my brother.
The northwest area of camp is where you'll find him. You don't see the camp from far because it's hidden by some trick that the dragon does.
Can I do an insight check?
Sure.
You did me well. You did me well.
Trust the high end.
Is it cocked? No, that's not cocked.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, it's not cocked.
Insight. No. Anyway. 17.
17. Jeez. That's good. 17 seems to be true. Both the northwest corner of camp and that. Look, you get into the Dullian Forest, and you can see that's where the forest sort of kicks up. Once you walk for about 3 minutes, you're sort of on the outskirts of camp. There is a knotted pine, and you see that his friend there, Mikkel, is going like, don't tell them everything. He's like, no, I want to walk away from this. I've been on this job for 1 week, and I'm not dying for it. There is a knotted pine. If you pass that and walk another 5 steps, you will be within the camp. They can see outside, but you can't see in, so odds are they're going to see you walking up. But the smallest tent in the northwest corner of camp, that's where your soldier's going to be.
If this information is true, then my gift to you is no one will hear your names from our mouths.
Thank you.
If any of that information is wrong, your own dragon will come for you.
I'm in a dilemma because I'd rather just, walk away and have the first option be true. But I don't want to die, but I would rather die than the dragon comes to get me. So good luck.
To you as well. And I'll step back.
Well, Mikkel, we're on guard duty for another 3 hours of the patrol. Getting late in the day. Sun is near its setting point. And then we're back to camp. Is that not right? Mikkel's like, you're just really giving away all of our... Is that not right? Yeah, we're on for like 3 more hours. Okay. Better get back to our routine. Goes to pick up his sword, just like fumbling in this, trying to like not take his eyes off you guys, just like doing the feeble.
Just grasping for it.
Yeah. Finally picks it up by the sword itself, goes, cut hand, then looks down, sheathes it. Back on our patrol.
You were right. I was really not looking forward to killing you, so I'm glad that didn't happen.
Just starts walking really fast away. That is the information you have, and you see what appears to be also by your map the Dallin Forest ahead of you. Dhallin.
That was risky.
I didn't take any notes.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm really stressing about that fact, actually.
But I did see you go, take that down.
Take notes. All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
It just means that
Oh my god, I'm shaking again. Okay. Cool.
It means we have one shot at this.
It means we go at night. It means we have to go stealthily.
Let them go. How can we be sure that they're not going to beat us back to camp and warn them?
Yeah. I think that might have been... I think they might have been our way in. We can
I don't think so. I think they would have yelled out that we were coming before they'll willingly reveal that they gave people all of their secrets. It doesn't matter if you go back and say, hey, I gave someone all of your secrets. They're still doomed.
We'll do this your way tonight, Tal, and hopefully that's enough. But if we have to try again, a rougher approach might be necessary.
What time will it be in 3 hours?
It will be nighttime by then.
Okay.
It's her brother. She makes the rules.
Are we sneaking in?
I think we have to. I just don't know how you will.
I can see a little better in the dark than most others can, and I should be able to hopefully pick out a decent path, or at least get the jump on most people. Hopefully it'll be enough that we could sneakily or closer to the edge.
I think he said that they'll see us coming before we see them because of some cover.
The dragon's tiny hut. No, I'm kidding.
Straight up, there is like almost an actual like larger scale Leoman's tiny hut that happens in the first book. So yeah, it's very much.
You're smirking, ready to deliver. Like I was like, what is it?
Yeah, no, I had this same thought earlier this week. Yeah, and to that note, Paige, the idea of changing the visual appearance of a landscape at the size of a dragon's army seems remarkably complex, but a grander scale of an idea that you know is possible.
Okay.
Notes?
It's quite simple. It's really a bending of the light.
Bending of the light. I wonder... I wonder if he can do it. Maybe. No, I don't know.
Well, you can read people's minds, right?
In a way. I can hear people think.
Well, then maybe you can hear their thoughts before we get there.
Right.
Good thinking, Tal.
Before we're ever in their line of sight.
That is what I'm worried about. I'm not sure how far into the brush they can see. We will know when we get there, but you know what? It might be the best way. I'm just worried to know once we have it, how will Leon make it in?
Leora, give me a nature check.
Sure.
The same way we would get under anything. We dig.
Don't see a shovel. How are we gonna do this?
Okay, Shia LaBeouf, you're gonna make some holes.
17.
17. You're looking at the density of this forest, and it is possible that it opens up in the middle and becomes more like sparse. Looking at it from the vantage point that you have, it seems far more likely that they have sort of like woven a camp inside of this forest, maybe cleared an area just for the tents, but it feels likely that it would be probably pretty dense wood up until the point that they clear it out.
Perhaps they'll... I might stick to the rear, but if there's even a bit of cover, I'll let you take the lead, and I'll do what I can to stay hidden.
So, Dellen Forest, 3 minutes walking through the forest?
Yeah, something like that. I can't honestly remember the number I said, but like once you walk into the forest for a little bit,
3 minutes to a knotted pine.
The northwest corner of the camp, kind of hard to tell where that is, but you're looking for a knotted pine.
What does the knotted pine tell us?
That is essentially the indicator for the northwest corner of the camp. They said the knotted pine is the closest entry point to like the small tent.
5 steps to the small tent.
Yeah. 5 steps?
You said 5 steps.
That's not enough. It's more than that. I was panicking. It's more than 5 steps.
Maybe 5 steps to camp, and then there's
that's one Lior step. But so basically, what they're saying is the closest area to this smallest tent in the northwest corner outside the camp. The indicator that you'll have as a landmark for where to enter is a knotted pine.
Okay, and I imagine I would have asked him, had he not offered 5 steps, how far from the knotted pine?
Depends who's walking. I mean, if it's this guy over here.
How about
2 steps. Yeah, that's correct.
How about you?
For me, maybe 40, 50 paces. You don't build right next to the outside.
5 steps away.
Listen, I was spitballing hard.
Cool. Okay, off you go. Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Mikkel, let's get out of here.
All right.
You're just throwing darts intentionally missing them. Like Ramsey Bolton.
Ramsey Bolton was. Anyways, sorry.
So we travel now. Get there by dark.
We go now. Get there by dark.
If they see us coming, do we set up a decoy and run, or do we force our way in?
As long as they don't recognize who we are and why we're going, there's no need to keep advancing. We can always retreat and try again.
Okay, so we run back, even if they spot us, and try and take cover.
I really wish we had those 3 boomsticks right now. God, I wish I had those boomsticks.
Tao, what do? Are we going in guns a-blazing and saying this is our only shot to get Sammy? Or are we trying to do this as strategic as possible? And if they have to move him, we'll kind of see the camp moving. Are we taking our time, or are we going all in tonight?
He's the only soldier left.
It won't last long.
He won't last long. If they know we're here for him tonight, he knows too much about their operation. I think they'd...
So we get him tonight.
I think it has to be tonight.
Well, if things go awry, we'll make a distraction. And you guys give us the word as soon as Sammy's out. I don't know how. Maybe hum a little tune or do some screamo death metal. But either way...
What's that?
Weird echoes of a world long past flicker through your minds. The voice in your mind goes, ooh, the Black Wind. Yeah. So what are you guys thinking of doing here? You see this forest. Again, it's not like imminently right next to you guys. Patrolling this close would be a poor move. They're trying to maintain a perimeter. So, there is a little bit of it's a short walk, really, maybe about an hour's, but if you're trying to hop unseen, you're doubling your time.
Yeah.
Do we want to send in, if they're on the outskirts, do we want to send in a scout, someone who is stealthy, Tal, I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
And if any alarm is raised, we can cover for you as you make your way back out. Put up distractions.
As someone who almost got grappled and died, I'm just saying it's a risky maneuver.
Leroy's like, I don't know about going solo, you guys.
I'm just saying.
We can send in teams of 2.
Can you walk quiet?
Thanks to my uncle's new armor, yeah, a little bit more. All right. Let's do this then.
All right.
Okay. You guys make your way from stand of tree to stand of tree and are keeping an eye out for any people walking around, and you do spot like at the far edge of like this sort of plain, you do occasionally spot small figures that you can't quite tell if they are deer or if they are people because they're so far away, but you do hold off until they have moved on. Sometimes you find them moving erratically, sometimes you find them walking at a normal like steady pace, and those are the ones you're glad to have held off of. One time you're almost caught in the open in a plain, but you see one of them look at you and then just very far away you see sort of a pale face and very purposefully walking with their heads pointed away from you, and you know this is maybe you getting spotted by the right group of people. As night falls, you land your way to the foot of the Dallin forest itself, and walking around the perimeter you search for the right landmark. I'll ask everyone to give me a perception or survival, I guess, would be the 2 options. It's like woodsman tracking, but you're also trying to Where's Waldo it, so either one works.
19.
19?
16.
16?
13. 4 to 16, sorry.
4.
I'll make it
4.
Survival.
Perception.
I'll make mine
4.
Insight.
Paige, it's dark. You can't really see too much. You both with your 16s manage to sort of keep an eye out and sort of halt Paige from walking and stepping forward into the light when there are clearly now more people walking around on the outside, still not on the inside of the camp. With a 19, Dirk, you are starting to hear... At first you ignore it because you're hearing sort of like a low murmur, but then you realize that the murmur is sort of voiceless. And what you realize you're hearing is the sounds of a functioning military camp. You look and no one else seems to hear it. The 2 of them are on high alert for people scouting on the outside. Paige maybe is just too used to hearing a low murmur to have picked up on this, but you see this low... You hear this low murmur to your right as you're sort of tracking along this line of trees and start looking for this knotted pine. And after about 15 stressful minutes, you do spot it. Right sort of at this strange inner... It looks like the forest just continues. At first, you're looking for like an inner ring that is opened up, but it looks like the forest just continues on in. But you do spy what is unmistakably this pine that not only is stripped of its needles and not evergreen, which is the reason that you can see the trunk, but the trunk is abnormally like sort of warped, almost in an artful way, with knots that double the width of the tree at some point. And you're able to spot that and sort of grab everyone's attention.
Hey, it's over here. Somehow there's a boundary or something here, Paige. This is the pine.
I'm going to close my eyes and channel and reach out to the voices as I detect thoughts.
Okay. What's the range on that?
30 feet.
Okay.
I have a metamagic called Distant Spell.
Interesting.
It should double the range of... Can I read it? I'm not sure if it applies to this.
Okay.
And thus I could hear further.
Yep. Essentially, it's you use a sorcery point to double the range, yes?
That's correct, yeah. I'm not sure if it's for every spell. That's the only thing.
I'm going to go ahead and say that, yeah, that applies
Perfect.
in this situation. That
Good.
applies in this situation. I think with that, you don't necessarily hear anything immediately. You are hearing the sounds of your companions. You're hearing Lior trying to find a tree that is big enough to sort of hide behind, but then
not that one. No.
But then you see sort of like slipping into, that's the rational mind, but you see that instinctively Lior is like sort of one with being among trees and is walking in such a way that it like really does blend in quite a bit. Dirk is sure-footed as ever, but you can really see the effects of the armor. And Dirk is very wisely for the situation, just thinking, quiet. We have to be quiet. You have to be quiet. Tal is just, you could just hear the sound of a heart beating fast. As you guys work your way further in and closer to the pine itself, you could just pick up. Soup's ready. Is it my turn for patrol or is it your turn? And you're just on the cusp of some activity that picks up and fades as you make your way for this last couple of 100 meters to the tree. When you are there, it is silent. You all stand as close to the tree as you can reasonably hope to be without being easily seen from within. And now you're all hearing sort of a few sounds of camp, although you see no sign that the forest ends. What is your plan?
I'm going to say I think we've arrived.
Did he say that the forest ended at the camp?
He seemed to imply that having a space for a camp wouldn't be right next to the tree line.
Yeah.
But you see no end to the tree line where you are.
Okay.
Can I just gonna try like walking around the tree to see if I've missed something. Maybe there's a button or a rune like the way gate that we have to activate.
I'll
save
kind
the
of
trail.
stop you from doing that.
Oh.
And I'll say, didn't he tell us that they could see us coming before we would ever see them?
There's nothing here though.
Paige, make an Arcana check.
Yeah. That's a 6.
That's not a 16?
Roll again.
That's not a 16.
Roll again.
I'm going to
save my sorcery points for.
I'm going to use magical guidance, and I'm going to re-roll that.
Okay.
Peer pressure.
Is it a 6 again?
It's a 4.
It's a 4. You wish you paid better attention during this lesson.
I didn't mention it. As soon as we decided we're attacking tonight, I would have cast Mage Armor on myself. With,
Okay.
Pick up of the Wind.
Interesting.
I'm gonna pull out the Sphere of Truth.
Yeah.
It has to be a yes or no?
It's not a yes or no. It's a wheel or woe.
A wheel or woe.
It's about a specific course of action that you take, that you could take in the next 15 minutes. It's the augury spell.
And my detect thoughts at 60 feet is not even picking up the tent that was described as being 50 feet away from the edge, or 50 paces away.
How would you know you are picking up the thoughts of an occupant of a tent?
By hearing them, so I imagine I would.
Let me put it this way. You aren't hearing anyone's surface thoughts be like, here's my small tent. That's a really specific...
Okay. Yeah, no, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
It's more, there's no, like...
You're not picking
how
up
do I get out? Okay,
you're not
there's
picking
nothing,
up a
there's nothing.
consistent thought stream.
Okay.
I'll ask, will the people inside the camp see us as soon as we step in?
That's just for sound effects.
I like it.
The answer that comes up says, depends how careful you are. Mechanically. Wheel or woe, wheel and woe.
I think we're gonna have to sneak.
I will say this. You are hearing swells of, like... It's not constant. Every once in a while there is, like, a little fluttering thought that lands on you. There's not a consistent pattern.
Yeah.
But usually there's at least 30 seconds to a minute between them.
Okay. I think there's going to be a moment where we might be able to quickly get in. From what I'm feeling, there's a ebb and flow to the voices on the other side. We can time it.
Should we wait until nighttime when everyone's gone to bed?
They might have sentries all night. I would if I were...
Sentries make sense, but we wouldn't run into anybody just casually walking across to go have a chat, you know?
That is fair, but if those two are ending their watch soon, we're running out of time.
Okay.
Are we all running in?
I don't even know that Sammy will be back in his tent. It's dinner time, isn't it? Mr. DM?
It's nighttime.
Is it well past nighttime though?
I mean, it's probably about 2 hours into nighttime. Like, the sun was sort of like going down when you were speaking with them, and then it was dusk while you were making your way across. By the time you hit the forest, it was pretty well already, like, dark for an hour.
I think that splitting up is a mistake. We are only so as strong as we are together.
Then Paige should probably lead us. If you can hear the thoughts of people nearby, you can let us know how close they are.
I have an idea. We know that the camp is in there and that there should be tents. We will run in together as quietly as we can, and we find a place where we can hide. When we are there, I will send a message back to you, Lior, for you to follow. We will be able to cover and hopefully deal with anything that may come up as Lior and Dirk make their way across. I think we can act as the scouts without separating the group for too long. What do you say?
Okay.
We're women. This is what we do. We got this. We're gonna wait. Trying to create a feeling of camaraderie with my fellow...
Your fellow person
Chica
who is
over here.
fully described as a man.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, but...
One of the voices that swirls around your head goes, "Oh, gosh!"
I just remember Tal dancing to, man, I feel like... And it's... We got this. We got
Let's
this.
truly, in this moment, let's go, girls. So I need both of you guys, if that is what you're planning to do, to roll me a stealth check.
If we wait for that moment where they go, that would be our best. But sorry, I'm not sure if that would help anything.
Yes, I know you were trying to ask me if you have advantage without asking me if you have advantage.
That's what I was doing.
You don't have advantage, but
I
you
cast
feel like
suggestion on you.
You feel like it's smart to... I cast power word stun on you.
Stop running. I'm just so you know, I'm gonna create a telepathic link with my Ogia friend.
Okay.
I need to do that while he's within sight, and then I can run up to a mile or something. So.
Crazy. Yeah. Sick.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Very nice.
13 on the die.
Do I reroll or not?
What did you get?
I rolled a 10.
I don't know what your plus is, though, because I rolled a 13, but I got a dirty 20.
It's a +5.
It's so rough because it's middle of the road. So it could go way worse.
You can try and read my face after I roll.
I cast detect thoughts.
I'm the DM. Oh.
I'm gonna commit.
You're gonna commit?
Yep.
You beautiful
15.
bastard, your face didn't change at all.
Insane. Truly, for me, insane.
No.
You wait for a moment and then take a tentative couple of steps forward after you stop hearing voices. And And as you take a step forward, you're worried about your plan because you start to hear the voices again the closer in proximity you get, but you realize you just have to commit. And the two of you dart forward. And whereas you had a sort of strange feeling when you entered the steading of the Ogier, this is a lot more disconcerting because all of a sudden at once you see forest, and then you enter and you feel warmth, and you see campfires to the point that it's almost disorienting, and you see the backs of people walking away in the distance, and you look around quickly and no one is looking at you, but you see that there is a spot ahead of you, roughly 40 to 50 paces away, with a small tent. But before that, there is like this temporary stable setup that is very close to you, maybe about halfway between. And you both dart through there and post up, and you wait, and you wait. And you wait for a minute, and no one has come. There is a harrowing moment when someone walks by closely, gives a carrot to a horse, but then walks away again. It seems you have gotten in unscathed.
I'm going to communicate to Leo that we've made it in without seemingly being detected. We will let them know when the best moment for them to run in is. There's a lot of people here.
It's a lot of people here. She says at a whisper.
Yeah, I was going to go ahead and assume your whole conversation in the forest was whispering.
Do we risk it?
How far is the tent from where we are?
You covered roughly half the distance to get there. 25 paces.
I would take the time. Leo is there. He's behind the trees, but his hammer is out, and he's just nervously kind of flexing his fingers. And when Paige's voice comes in, he'll breathe a sigh of relief and say, "There. They've made it undetected."
Excellent. Excellent. So it's our turn to go now?
Not yet.
I'm going to feed a bit of information. There's many people. There's a stable halfway between the edge of camp and the thing, and the tent. Just to give them a paint a picture.
What is behind the tent?
More tents?
Is it like surrounded by more tents? It's like in the middle of a bunch of tents?
I mean, I don't want to say it's in the middle necessarily. Let's say you have run in from this corner. The tent is here. You are hiding in a stable roughly here. Tents here, sort of hooking up around it. There's like an open, sort of untended, dead bonfire sort of in that dead space. But it is like the closest looking, and you can clearly tell it is a smaller tent than the others. A bit like shabbier looking canvas. But that is clearly the tent that you were looking for. It is distinct from the others. You don't see or hear people like standing outside of adjacent tents. You can hear like a general din of like muted conversation, but it's not turbo close to you guys. Every once in a while someone takes a few steps closer. You see someone walk into their tent, grab something, and run back off towards a distant glow of probably a bonfire. There are tents surrounding it, but...
Do you have an idea of how many people are within eyesight, or like of the area that we just covered, how many people could see?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
It's not with disadvantage because it's kind of dim light, not darkness, but it's, that impacts the check.
Okay. It's 15.
A 15. You don't necessarily lock eyes with anyone. It's not like there are people so close that you're locking eyes. The harrowing moment was walking in. Like, once you get to this point, you feel pretty confident that you can stay here unseen for a few minutes at least, confidently.
Okay.
Knowing nothing about the movements of this camp, of course.
Yeah.
You can see sort of distant from where you are the backs of some people surrounding a bonfire. Looks like some men and women huddled around a fire. But they are quite far away from you.
Okay.
Can I ask a really odd question?
Always.
I come from a small town where absolutely everybody knows everybody else. When you see somebody, you walk by and you make eye contact because you already know that you're going to know everyone there. contrasted with these big cities that I've very recently been in for the first time, where almost nobody makes eye contact because they don't assume they're going to know somebody when they walk by.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get the feeling that everybody knows everybody here? Or do I get the feeling that there's some friends, some strangers?
Make a perception check for me as well.
Not insight.
No, because this is about what you can
Natural
track.
one!
You are so laser focused. You're scanning around, trying to see where people are, and you're telling Tao, like, help me find a good time for people to walk in. And you are half-heartedly doing that, but your eyes just keep darting back to this small drab tent. You're too focused on Sammy maybe being this close.
I think we should bring the others in. I think they should wait here while we go to the tent, because I don't know what state Sammy's in.
Do you think they can make it in unseen?
If you time it right, you feel confident.
There you go.
I have a feeling that if we time it right...
Do you feel confident?
I think I do.
Send the message.
I'm going to send the message when I feel confident that the timing is right.
She feels confident.
The timing is right.
Now Dirk runs in.
What do you say in your message?
No.
I feel confident the timing is right.
For you to stealth in.
You genuinely do, at a certain point, have some level of assurance that, like, this would be as good of a moment as when you ran in.
Yeah.
And call for them and tell them also where to point when you run in.
I'm going to say in 2
We're
steps.
men, this is what we do.
Yeah.
As you guys come in, I need both of you to roll a stealth check as this same disorienting sensation.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Don't me.
It's
Swear jar.
narratively. It's double digits.
It's a 15.
That's great.
21.
Oh!
Wow.
Like, I think you should... What are you doing here?
You don't even have disadvantage on stealth?
I do not.
You just roll so garbage with stealth. I
Yep.
assumed you have disadvantage. Okay, cool.
Excellent.
You guys run in, and it's this strange thing for you guys because you turn around and you do see them. You see the Naughty Pine the whole time, and you see a moment where the two of them walk out, and, like, you're almost praying, like, go faster, what are you doing? But because you see them sort of, like, hesitantly stepping forward out into the open, just carefully walking forward until a moment when they look and see everything, and they see the stable and just rip it over to you. You sort of slide in a little bit heavily, Lior, but as you hit the deck, a horse stamps its hoof a few times. Covers up the sound. The tent is 25 paces, 50 feet away from you.
50 feet away.
Yes.
Okay.
I said paces as in...
I was gonna...
It's like meters.
Is a foot 2 paces?
Sure. I'm telling you it's 50 feet now. I realized I was saying paces, but this is a game of feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 feet away from you.
Is everybody wearing the same uniform? Like they're joining the army of the dragon, or do they just kind of look like whatever they were wearing when they joined?
No, you don't really see a uniform. The only thing that you can think back to was on the two guards, or the two that you accosted outside of the camp, outside of the boundaries. You could see that they had a small clasp that was in the shape of like the letter D, but with stylized, instead of just coming to a fine point, it has stylized like horns on either end.
What are we waiting for?
Do we all go, or do some of us hang back while the others make it to the tent?
I think 1 or 2 of us go to the tent, the rest wait here for damage control.
I will wait here. I don't want to spook him.
I'll wait with you, Leo.
I don't think anything will spook him at this point, but okay.
I think Dirk, you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's go get Sammy.
All right.
So you two are going to
Yeah.
get Sammy? I need both of you guys to roll me a stealth check one more time.
We're gonna go with blue.
Don't let me down, don't let me down, don't let me down. 17.
8.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no.
You race towards this small tent. Wouldn't have much room bigger than it wouldn't have much more room than enough to fit you two and maybe one other person lying side by side. As you run, you look off into the night and you swear you could catch out of the glow of the fire sort of two embers coalescing and forming eyes really quickly. And you stumble for a second and then just barely catch yourself thinking, this is for Tal. This has all been for Tal. And Tal, you see Dirk starting to fall and you slow his fall.
Yes!
You do a power slide and you slow fall. It works.
It works.
And you arrive at the tent and sneak your way in. You two.
We're doing a little happy dance. They made it. They made it.
You see them enter the tent. You see them enter the tent.
Mm-hmm.
And a brief moment you wait for what is going to happen next and wait for them to emerge until you hear a voice coming from behind you. A confident voice that says, "My goodness. I hadn't imagined any of the fine builders had joined my cause." And you wheel around and see a man, a tall man with a dark complexion lit by the flickering light of the fires in the camp, with hair down to his shoulders, and a bemused smirk on his face. At his side is a shorter man with kind of just hair that looks like he's run his hands through it a bunch of times, heavily armored, sword out as you both reflexively go to scramble to your feet, and the tall man says, "Sit, please. This is a place of fellowship. I'm sure we can all speak and come to an accord. Be welcome among the people of the dragon."
Is my detect thoughts still going?
I think it's a minute.
Weirdly,
it's 10 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Weirdly, you don't detect anything coming from the aura surrounding this man.
That freaks me out so hard.
He says, "Pleased to make your acquaintance. My name's Loghain Ablar." Tal. Dirk.
Don't tell me the tent is empty.
You duck into the tent, heart racing in the darkness, and open up the flap of the tent, and you see, huddled on, not even a cot, just a mat along the floor, seemingly asleep in sort of a curled up position. You see a figure, a man, somewhat slender build underneath a thin blanket, with hair of a familiar reddish brown hue, who is lying there facing away from you, who has not made any mention of your entrance.
Sammy.
First thing he sees is you lying down in there, and
"Are you Sammy?"
He doesn't even answer because he looks and he's lying down and gets the hair that was never long enough to be sort of bothering him just on the cusp of being in his eyes, but sweeps it back and looks and goes, "Tala? Tala, what are you?" And so tears well up in his eyes as he sort of scrambles up and it doesn't really stand, just like kneeling, wraps around you in a hug, goes, "What are you doing here? Tala!"
I'll hug his head at my abdomen. I'm crying. I couldn't let Mama worry. It's time to take you home.
And he sort of like pulls back from you and looks at you and goes, What are you talking? And as he pulls back, something snags against your belt as he pulls back, and you look down and you see pinned to the coat that he sleeps in is a letter D emblazoned with horns on the side. And he goes, We have a lot to talk. And a voice from behind you goes, Indeed, I think that we do have a lot to talk about, as the two of you have been marched up to the foot of this tent. You whip around. Dirk, you immediately see someone who is... You've never noticed this sort of an effect before, but you see a glow surrounding this person. A glow of strength, a glow of, for you, a torrent, a river. For this is the sea of storms swallowing the land. An unfathomable amount of power that would rip you away from yourself in an instant, and this man is just staring at you, somewhat bemused. He goes, Shall I put on a little bit of tea so we can have a conversation?
Sure.
It's not often... What's that?
I think I'm just gonna kneel immediately and just like bow my head and just like look to the rest of them and just be like, what are you doing? Like, put your head down.
And he chuckles a little bit, and you, I think, are just standing there. You don't kneel. And Sammy puts a hand on you and goes, that's not necessary. Looks at you sort of like sheepishly and goes, there are no ranks or orders among the people of the dragon who breaks the world to reshape it anew and better. Logain, have you met my sister? And you just stare up at the face, now putting a name to this, quite frankly, friendly-looking man who goes, Oh, this is a story I'll want to hear. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Somehow the nausea got worse.
Okay.
I don't even know.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Zach
Michelle
was
knew,
cut for
but
this,
Talon
but
didn't.
Dirk is not happy.
Brad's goddamn twists always do this. I should
thought
have
we were.
seen this.
I thought we were good. I thought we were good.
I twist literally every character I throw at you guys. You should know. You should know better.
I should. We
wow.
should.
You okay, Zach?
Yeah, Zach's crying,
I'm
dude.
crying about that.
Zach's crying.
Well, the thing was, the way you described him, I was like, oh, look, he's a sheepishly malnutritioned child, just like I expected. And then he was like, but I still love the dragon. And I'm like, God. Should have seen that coming.
Hey, you guys made, we did our proper journey in one session.
I hate you, Bradley.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I hate you, Bradley.
I don't like the destination, okay? I'm just gonna tell you.
I want to go home.
Well, I mean, you gotta have tea first.
Oh, God.
Wow.
This is not a good situation for Dirk.
I don't know. I thought that ruled. That went.
That was really awesome.
That went kind of great for me.
I was not expecting that.
And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys that
We leveled up again.
No. On your initial entry
We have to
in,
because we're about to fight someone.
on
who's
your
level
initial
20.
entry in, when you both rolled really well, I rolled a natural 20 for perception. And, you know, maybe he just let it happen and wanted to see how it played out.
God damn it.
Hey, man. This is the dragon and you're in the cave. Time to see if you can get along with this horde. Time to see what the deal is. And now that your cover's been blown immediately, try and figure out what your next move is now in this encampment of the enemy, in this information gathering quest that has now been pivoted harshly. I'm going to give you guys a solid week to collect your thoughts.
Oh my God.
And for me to decide whether it's a rooibos or an oolong kind of a day. That's going to do it for us. If you've stuck around, thank you so much for watching. As always, you can stay tuned next Tuesday at 7 p.m. to catch our next episode. Until then, I've been Brad. I've been really messing with everyone's rescue expectations. And this has been Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill your brother.
1-800